Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about Eros in the 11th house in a natal chart. Now, Eros in astrology can be connected with what we may have that very strong, powerful, even perhaps unconquerable or near unconquerable sexual attraction to. Now, since we're talking about like the house, we're talking about the house as opposed to the sign. It's more about the who, the where that this might happen as opposed to the actual characteristics associated with Eros. But it doesn't mean characteristics can't be associated with this to some degree, because remember the 11th house in astrology corresponds with the zodiac sign Aquarius, so there might be some Aquarius-like undercurrents with this. So anyway, now, as far as that person, you might have that very strong, powerful, inordinate sexual attraction to. It might be, in some cases, it might be a friend. It could be acquaintance. It could be a friend where it escalates into something much stronger. It might be somebody that figures prominently in your goals, your aspirations, and even someone that may be tied into your future or plays a very strong role in your future. This could be a person, too, that you might meet at some group, club, or organization. I mean, say, if this is in Scorpio, it might be somebody at some astrological or some supernatural occult or some anything that could be Scorpio related type of organization. It could be just people dealing with problem solving in general. This could be something too, or something that's connected with mechanics, because Scorpio can be tied in with mechanical ability. If this is in Gemini, say, obviously it could be somebody that's in communications group. It could be now somebody that you might meet through social media, through social networking. This could also be somebody that plays an integral role, perhaps in money that you may make from a business, if applicable, if you are a person that's in your own business, as an example. So anyway, now, the thing about this is, now this could actually be, in some cases, it could be an Aquarius, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant person, because it does, again, Aquarius does correspond with the 11th house in astrology, so there can be Aquarius-like undercurrents with this. It could be an Aquarius, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant person, or simply one that embodies Aquarius-like characteristics. Now, the thing about this too is that depending on what sign it's in, I mean, it could be somebody that might be that particular sign. It could be somebody that has that Sun, Moon, or Ascendant. Say if this is in Gemini, and it could be somebody that may have a Gemini Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, or may embody those characteristics. Of course, if it conjuncts one's Ascendant, it could be more. It could reaffirm more of a physical connection, reinforce and reaffirm a more physical connection. Now, if it's the moon, say if you have your Eros in your natal chart, say it's in Gemini and it conjuncts another person's moon in Gemini, it could be more on an unconscious or subconscious level. Now, if your Eros, again, as an example, is in Gemini and it conjuncts another person's Gemini sun, it may be more about the basic character, but it could be on a physical level to some degree, because the sun is associated with the physical body. But even though the ascendant is what dominates the appearance, the ascendant is more tied in to the physical body and the appearance, but the sun can play a role because the sun is associated with the physical body as well. Now, also, too, keep in mind that Eros in astrology can be very extremist, and what I mean by that is it could be that energy that we're strongly infatuated with or enamored with, but it could also reflect what we might be exceptionally turned off by, rebuffed by, or who just flat out repudiate or reject. Now, I mean, and a lot of that could be predicated and dependent on other elements in your chart. Now, let's say, I mean, this could be a person, if this is energy that you might be strongly turned off by, it might be people that are dominated by the internet, that are too friendship oriented, have a lot of acquaintances, have a lot of friends. Now, say if you're somebody that's a Taurus, you have Taurus sun, moon, or ascendant, or even a Cancer sun, moon, or ascendant, you might be a person that's more of a homebody, more introverted. Taurus could be more enamored with domestic interests. Cancer is often about their home and their family, and more about, very strongly about introversion, because Cancer can be very shy, very timid. They're more about activities at home. Taurus is more dominated often by domestic interests, but Cancer is more, it's more tied in with the home and the family life in general. Now, the thing about this too is it could also be somebody that might be strongly rebuffed by a person that might be, again, dominated by the internet. It might be somebody that's more emotionally detached, because again, it does correspond with the 11th house in astrology, does correspond with Aquarius. It might be a person that's overly freedom loving, independent, and aloof. I mean, say if you have your sun, moon, or ascendant in Scorpio as an example, you might want something that's a little bit, I'm going to say, provocative, more deep, as far as a deep connection. You certainly don't want anything that's superficial, or something that where you feel the other person might be more emotionally detached and doesn't really want that close connection, because Scorpio is really like just the opposite as far as that goes. Now, it could also be somebody that might be too involved on the internet, too much into social networking, social media. That could be energy you might strongly be rebuffed by or reject. So anyway, well, keep in mind too, Eros in astrology can also be associated with one's creative energy and abilities. So we're talking about the 11th house. This is the area where that creative energy and ability might be injected into and shared with. Now, as far as this goes, it might be something that's tied in with your aspirations and your goals. It could be doing something like, say, if it's in Gemini, it might be like creative writing, as an example, or using, let's say if it's an Aquarius, it might be using creativity, using electronic parts. You might just simply be making, putting things together, making figures out of electronic components as an example, and showing creativity with that. It might be electronic art as an example. If you have it, say in Libra or Taurus, it could be some creativity that's associated with art, and it might be tied into your goals and aspirations. And also your creative energy and ability might go, you might do work with this better with groups or in some club or organization. It could be where this is strongly tied into your future as well. So this could be something where your creative energy might play an integral role of where you go in the future. You might be using it very strongly in terms, and emphasizing it in terms of your future life. And it may be expressed through social media as well. It could simply be the person that puts a lot of creative posts on their wall and shares it with people that they know through social media and social networking. It may also be shared with stepchildren if applicable, if you do have any, and also with friends and acquaintances. This could be, remember, in the 11th house I see as being associated with computers as well. So it could be somebody that might design something. I mean, say if this is in Pisces as an example. Pisces is, of course, associated with illusion. It could be like that person, somebody that might design something. They've talked about this in like around the year 2025, where you're going to have like conferences, right? And you're going to be able to do it from your computer. Conferences, it could be people from various parts of the world, where they're going to appear, give an illusion like they're actually in your own room as you're talking to them. So that could be like an example if you have Eros and Pisces, say, in your 11th house, because Pisces, again, illusion, 11th house, I see as being associated with computers. It is connected with the internet and social media, social networking. So anyway, and it could also be in terms of making money from your business, is what you might use a lot of your creative energy and ability for. Now, Also, too, Eros in astrology can be associated with what one may have a very powerful exuberance and enthusiasm for, a very strong passion for. Since we're talking about the 11th house, it could be with activities with friends and acquaintances. Say if it's in Sagittarius, it may very well be something with sports or athletics, or something with the law or religion or philosophy. Now, also, too, it could be working toward your future is something you might have a very powerful exuberance and enthusiasm for as well. You might be a person that's very progressive, forward moving, and has a lot of passion in going forward toward what lies toward your future. Now, also too, this enthusiasm and exuberance might also be injected into groups, into organizations, clubs you belong with, and it may even be indeed from making money from a business. Perhaps if you do have if you are in some kind, if you do have your own business. So, and also too, I mean, this could be something too where it might be shared with stepchildren as well, or through social media very strongly, or even like social media and social networking as well. Now, let's say you have this in Scorpio. It could be somebody that might have a very powerful exuberance and enthusiasm through troubleshooting computers, as an example. Because again, the 11th house I see can be associated with computers, and of course, Scorpio can be about solving mysteries, conundrums, and just problem solving in general. So, anyway. Now, as far as like an aspect example goes, say if this makes a sextile or trine to your natal sun, this could be a person that might have very good focus and might even add creative energy to the already possible existing creative energy and ability associated with the sign that Eros is in and the 11th house. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.